Hello there, Grumpy Old Fart here. And for those two guys who didn't like my cup, just for you. Okay. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons a long time, since, over 40 years. I've been running it since 1979. I'm doing these videos to help younger players and dungeon masters because information is a good thing. In Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, there is a class called Wizards, and there's a subclass called Illusionists. These two classes cannot wear armor, according to the rules. If they do, they cannot cast spells. Consequently, Wizard and Illusionist armor class is usually not good. Usually it sucks. There are, especially starting out. Now, there are magic items that you can get through the course of the game that will help with this issue. Items such as rings and cloaks of protection, bracers of defense, that kind of thing. I'm just going to use cloaks and rings because they're a little easier, a little easier to illustrate. But these items all tend to be fairly expensive. For example, a +1 cloak of protection costs 10,000 gold book price. A +2 cloak costs 20,000. A +1 ring, any ring of protection costs at least 10,000 gold, depending on how your game master runs it. So that's a lot of money. When you start out, it's usually a couple of hundred gold is what you've got for all your equipment and everything, and it tends to go quick. So a starting out character, you're not going to afford one of these. It's not happening. The other thing about this is these cloaks and rings of protection also help your savings throws. They give you bonuses for savings throws. According to the rule book, wizards and illusionists cannot have armor at all. So these particular magic items are highly sought out because wizards who have a crappy armor class get killed easy. They don't have a lot of hit points. According to the advanced, now I'm going to give you the hack to get around this, or at least a hack. According to the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Wilderness Survival Guide, very cold weather clothing and cold weather clothing are made of thick furs, bear furs primarily, other cold weather animals. And these thick furs impart an AC bonus of +1 for cold or +2 for very cold. What they actually say is your armor class normally starts at 10, and then you subtract your dexterity adjustment. Well, they start at 9 or 8, depending on what kind you get. And then you subtract your dexterity adjustment from that. These thick furs are essential in cold weather climates, and that's why it's in the Wilderness Survival Guide. They didn't have rayon or any of these nice warm, what do you call them? I don't know. They don't have modern materials to make winter clothing out of, so you got to heap the furs on. Well, page 18 to 20 in the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Wilderness Survival Guide specifically says that cold weather clothing gives a bonus of +1 and very cold gives a bonus of +2, which is the same armor class bonus as the cloaks of protection I talked. Now there are more powerful cloaks of protection, but they cost more. There are more powerful rings of protection, but they cost more. The very cold weather clothing, according to the Wilderness Survival Guide, costs 7 gold. Even if your dungeon master haggles, it's going to be a hell of a lot less than that 10,000. Very cold weather clothing, the big heavy bear furs and like that, costs 15 gold, which is still a lot. Even if he haggles, it's still a lot cheaper than the 20,000 for the +2 cloak of protection. Plus, it's worn and can be worn by any class. It keeps you warm, and it can be worn by any class. So fighters can do this. Anybody can do this. They're not magical items. They're just thick furs. They act as armor. These do not bolster your savings throws, but they can be worn with magical armor. Cloaks of protection cannot. There is a paragraph. I gotta talk about this. There's a paragraph. As a matter of fact, it's the last paragraph on page 20, to be precise, of the Wilderness Survival Guide, which suggests that a dungeon master may want to give a 10% chance for a wizard to miscast a spell, in other words, spell failure or ruin the spell, lose the spell, while wearing these bulky garments. This is entirely up to the dungeon master. But worst case scenario, you still have a 90% chance for spell success. You see what I'm saying? You could always, if you're wearing the heavy bear fur over you, not actually make it clothing, but make it a heavy cloak, you can drop it when you go into combat. That way you can cast at normal amounts. And temperature permitting, of course, because if it's minus 40 and you're trying to fight a battle, that's stupid to begin with. If a creature is attacking you and it's minus 40, chances are he's immune to the cold. You don't need to be fighting him. You need to be running away. That's all I'm saying. Regardless, 15 gold is a real bargain for a +2 cloak of protection, and it's something to consider. If you really feel that your player character's armor class is not what it should be, consider investing in a bear fur. It could literally save your player character's life. I hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good day now. God bless one and all.